No, Lyndon, that's not late. It's 7 o'clock on the button. Good evening, everybody. I saw all the comments saying we were going to be late. Martin's had to nip out for a bit of an emergency. There he is back now. Look, see that?
I've not even had a chance to... Wait a minute, I've not even had a chance to swap my hair, Wolf, or anything. What you doing, God, live?
Because they all said you were going to be late. We don't do late, so...
Yes.
Right, well, you'll need to carry on for a few minutes then, while I go and sort some stuff out.
That's what I was trying to say before you interrupt me. So there you go. He is here. He's got stuff to sort out like his Barnett. So 7 o'clock on Saturday night, everybody. The Rabble Network, obviously. It's not really a breaking news pod because the news broke 2 hours ago. But Trev, the signings just keep coming.
I always had the faith. Hello, everyone. I kept the heat. I wasn't panicking. I bought into what everyone was telling me, from the manager to the chairman, the board, and the one comment was really interesting, Wilf, when the gaffer went, we spoke to some people, sorry if I'm getting ahead of myself, and if they said, oh, we're just waiting, hearing back on other options, or I'm paraphrasing, next, on to the next one. That sold me, Wilf, that comment. I'm buying into it.
Yeah, I mean, for me, when he said, more to come, that's all I had to hear was there's more to come. And this was last night, obviously, before tonight's signing, which obviously, in case you've missed it, folks, which I'm sure you haven't, because you've all got your eye on the ball, your finger on the pulse. THELO ASGAARD, I believe is how you pronounce it. You don't say the H according to our Scouse Norwegian correspondent, Trev. So it's THELO ASGAARD, an attacking midfield player signed from Luton Town on a 4-year deal to add to the recent acquisitions of Joe Rothwell on a 3-year deal and Emmanuel Fernandez on a 4-year deal. And the boss is back, so it's over to him.
Hello, everybody. How are we? I hope we're all well. Yes, signings galore. And, well, something you said there, which is actually something I had written down, was when the manager said that, look, we're working hard behind the scenes. Everybody's on holiday. It's a lot more tricky right now to get players in, but we're working on it and there will be more players through the door. As soon as he said that, that's when I went, yep, okay, happy days. And then, of course, today we get the announcement of THELO I was going to say Hernandez. Why was I going to say Hernandez? THELO ASGAARD. I was thinking of the PSG player because you mentioned PSG before we started. So, yeah, I'm happy. I'm very, very happy, Wolf. We've got, Fernandez is about 8'7". So we've got a bit of height and a bit of strength in defence. And Wolf, the best thing I heard is that from ASGAARD is he likes to shoot for distance, Wolf.
Yeah, I mean, going back now to Fernandez, I'm a bit concerned because we had the lad for the Posh podcast on yesterday. And he doesn't seem too taken by him. I mean, they're saying he's 23 years old and a prospect. And he is about 18'4". So, you know what I mean? I don't know. I'm a bit dubious about the accuracy of how much he actually cost us, because I don't think he did cost what everybody's saying he's going to cost. But as usual, it'll be the same way what AASGAARD, I'd imagine it'll be our good old friend undisclosed fee, which I absolutely detest. Just come out and tell us how much. But yeah, AASGAARD likes to shoot. Perfect does me. We're signing players. My concern is we've still got an awful big squad. Yeah, and I know we're on holiday, clubs are still just coming back and things like that. But I mean, we've still got loads of players we need to get rid of. You know what I mean? We do. I mean, we still need to try and get rid of Davis and Dowell, Matondo, potentially McCausland, all these sort of guys. These guys, some of them are on fairly big money. So we do need to get them out of the building fairly quickly. We could probably live with it for a few weeks. But yeah, the fact we brought players, I mean, there's everybody, 6 or 7 days ago, people are wringing their hands and gnashing their teeth and they're coming on. They're 4 in the morning rabble and saying, Martin, what's all the signings? I'm getting worried. We can't go into the season with the last season squad and all these players come out, and then all of a sudden, bang, we've got 4 new players in.
Yes, we do.
Of more to come.
Shall we hear from the new signing then? And then we can come back and further discuss it.
I can't wait to hear this Norwegian accent. Love a good Norwegian accent. Oh,
by the way, it's such a strong Norwegian accent, so just listen carefully, folks. That's all I'm saying.
THELO, firstly, welcome to Rangers. The deal's over the line now. How does it feel to be here?
Yeah, I'm delighted to be here. It's been quite a few days and waiting for it, but I'm really happy to get it over the line.
Yeah, talk to us about that first initial contact. How were you feeling when the interest was first made?
Yeah, when I heard about it, I was over the moon, and yeah, I've played against the manager a few times, and I've always seen myself in his team. So yeah, to be here now is really good.
Yeah, what sort of factors did you have to consider? Obviously playing in England, moving north of the border, coming into Scottish football, what did you have to decide before making the switch?
It was quite an easy decision, to be fair. I love the amount of games here, like in the EFL. There's full of games, and I love it. And yeah, just the stature of the club, the history, that itself is enough.
You mentioned the role of Russell Martin, playing against his teams before. What was the discussions like with him? Just talk to us about that.
I think just to have the trust from him is really important, and I think just being here one day, I can already see that he wants me to be here, express myself within his system, and yeah, just looking forward to being part of hopefully a successful year. I remember when we played as Swansea teams, we didn't really touch the ball, and yeah, I always thought it'd be fun to play in that sort of team. So yeah, no, just delighted now.
Yeah, just taking you back to the start of your footballing journey. Obviously born in Liverpool, raised there, it's your hometown. You obviously came through the academy there. Just talk to us about that. Obviously playing with your hometown club.
Yeah, so I played 5 years at Liverpool as a young kid. 14 moved to Wigan and kind of developed through the academy there. Made my debut when I was 18. And then yeah, signed for Luton last year, just at the end of the transfer window, where they were in a kind of bit of a tough situation, but I went there to try and help them, and unfortunately it didn't go as we planned. But I'd like to think I gave my all, and I loved my time there. Loved every minute. So yeah, I've got no doubts that they'll have a strong year this year, and yeah, now I'm here.
Yeah, you mentioned that move to Wigan. You obviously had your first professional contract there, major professional debut, spent 5 years. How would you sort of sum your time up there?
4 or 5 years of progression really. It's kind of started off quite raw, playing a lot of games, but just finding my feet really. And then coming into the age of 19, 20, I really started to impose myself on our team. We won the league, won League One, got promoted, and it was a chance to show myself in the Championship. I think I did quite well, although we got relegated. But last season and the season before was really where I started to kind of step into my own body and really become the player I am. Grew a lot of confidence, and yeah, scored some goals. So yeah, I'm really grateful for my time there.
You made your Norway debut in March. What was the sort of feeling of, I suppose, earning that first cap? Or must have made your father proud as well.
Yeah, my dad was over the moon. All my Norwegian family was so happy, and yeah, it's a major milestone for me. I'll never forget that debut.
And scoring and assisting on your debut as well. It must have been a special day for you. It couldn't have went much better.
No, it's the days you dream of, but at the same time, it's a lot of hard work that's went into it, and yeah, hopefully more to come.
Yeah, and obviously when you look at that Norway team, getting to share a pitch in a dressing room, just looking at the players you're sharing with, like Martin Odegaard, Erling Haaland, just talk to us about, I suppose, the time you've been with them, what you've learned off those guys.
Yeah, they really took me in well. To be fair, I feel really part of the group. We've got a top group. We've had a strong start to the World Cup qualifiers. So yeah, to play in the World Cup next year is a big goal for me, and hopefully I can show the manager that I'm ready with some performances here.
And just individually, talk to us about your style as a player. What can Rangers fans expect to see when you're on the pitch?
Yeah, I'd say I'd add a bit of flair, full of confidence, not afraid to shoot from distance. Like to link up with my teammates and form connections at the top of the pitch, and yeah, I like to be part of the build-up phase as well as getting in the box and getting my goals.
And you've been in today, mate. Some of your new teammates. How's your sort of time been as a Rangers player so far?
Yeah, I feel at home already. The facilities are fantastic, and it's a really good changing room, and yeah, can't wait. It just feels like the right thing in my career, and to be playing in front of some amazing fans at an amazing stadium. It's what I've been dreaming of.
He just forgot the attendance at Ibrox there right at the very end, didn't he? To be playing in front of this many fans. No, but Trev, thoughts?
Close. Sorry, I had to copy that guy that does the impression of Gerrard. I know other people said it in the chat as well. I'm excited, mate, because I was reading up on him online. I like that style of player. He's going to be fast. He's going to be nimble. He's a playmaker. He's got some tricks about him. Maybe needs a few fish suppers in him, but to be fair, he's pretty rapid. I'm just gutted about his accent. Nothing with a Liverpool accent. I was hoping for the Norway accent and all that, and his old man's obviously Norwegian. But then the Rangers video, the teaser that came out before, literally had him with a hammer. Was it Molyneux or Mulliner or whatever you pronounce it, flicking up? And I went, who the hell found a hammer to put in a Rangers video? Who in the Rangers staff has got a hammer at home that they just brought in for that video? But I'm just excited about the signs that are coming along, Martin. You asked me before, you said you're concerned lack of signings. And I went, no, strangely enough, I'm not. And I think I've been proven right. They're coming along rightly in the right order. And I said to you before, just at the very, very start, you're away, make your coffee, sort your barnet, whatever. I was saying to Wolf, a comment the gaffer made got me excited, and he said, and it wasn't about him bringing his missus up to Ibrox to the first home game. No, he said, actually, we spoke to several players, and if they were talking about having, I'm paraphrasing, other options in mind, or they had to wait for other options, we move on to the next one. You have to be desperate to play for Rangers. And I was like, boom, sign me up. That's the kind of stuff I want to hear. So I'm buzzing. Looking forward to it.
I think we're all buzzing, Wolf, and we can go back to Russell Martin's interview again and what he said, but just going off the newest signing, of which I do believe there will be more, but also I do think we'll start to see in the coming days and weeks outs as well, which are probably just as important to get off the wage bill and to kind of shrink the squad size a wee bit. But can we actually talk about Russell Martin for a second? That's now Joe Rothwell. That's also now Fernandez and now Asgaard saying, well, one of the main reasons I'm here is because of Russell Martin. So whatever we thought about him before the start of the season, whatever our thoughts were on him coming in, I didn't want him, I wanted him, whatever it is, he's attracting players, Wolf. He's on mute, and it would have been a great shout as well what Wolf was saying.
That's because you muted me and I forgot you muted me. As Asgaard just said in the video that we've just literally watched, which is why you muted me and I forgot I was on mute. He said he's played against the managers' teams. Sorry, see, I'm getting a bit confused here because he's a first team coach, but they're all calling him the manager.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean. But anyway, they've all been playing against Mr. Martin. He's played against Mr. Martin's teams a couple of times, and he's thought to himself, I fancy playing in a system like that for a manager like him. You know what I mean? And he's done that. He said he's done that. He did that early when he was at Wigan, and for a player to think I want to be part of that and to actually go ahead and sign for a guy like that. You've got Aarons and Rothwell, who have both played under him previously, desperate to come and play for him. He must have something about him. Then okay, we haven't got a clue how he's going to be as a head coach. Right, tomorrow we'll maybe start getting an idea when we play against Bruges. But let's not expect too much tomorrow because it is the first game. There's going to be players there that we won't see again. There'll be players that we want to see that we won't see at all tomorrow because it's just too soon. For example, I don't think for a second we'll see Asgaard play tomorrow because it's far too soon for him. He's just in the door. Be nice if we did though. So we'll have to cut the manager a bit of slack, but it is very, very nice that players want to play for him. 100% it is. And for guys that have played for him in the past, he obviously knows what they can do, and they're comfortable with what he can do. We said when Rothwell came in that he obviously understands the system that he'll want to play, so he can help other players. He can, if somebody's maybe toiling, I don't really know what he means. He can say, well, this is what he does. This is the way he wants you to do that. That's another string to the coaching staff's bow, if you like. I mean, he's brought in Mike Williamson as a first team coach, a guy who he first played with way back early in his own career. And the good thing for me, just to go off on a bit of a tangent, Williamson's been a manager before. He's been a manager in his own right at Milton Keynes, Dodds and Carlisle. So he knows what the management thing's all about as well. So having a coach at that level must be quite good. And he's brought in obviously the goalkeeping coach as well, Sal Bibble. I just like saying his name. I think it's a fantastic name.
It is.
As well as the players, we've done it. I mean, considering that so many people are on holiday, we've done a hell of a lot of business this week.
Yes, we have, and it'll be interesting to see when the teams start coming back how more quickly the business gets done, and maybe once people start coming back, we might see more outs, because we can continue, Trev, to talk about signings and incomings and how happy we are with what we're seeing from a business point of view, which of course none of us are businessmen, but from a business point of view, Trev, there's only so many you can bring in before you go, right, we need to balance the books. And not just that, and I'm kind of reneging on something that I said a while ago, but it's not just the case of, right, we'll just get all the players in and then we'll start getting rid of people. You have to have concrete evidence that you're going to be able to get rid of those people.
Yeah. See, before I answer that really quickly, Martin, do you know the link between the hammer and Asgard in his name? I'm going to completely call out your geekness here. Do you know where Asgard is?
Thor?
What it is? No. It's where Thor comes from.
I just said Thor.
No, no.
I said Thor.
Aye, but you know,
run it back.
Never mind. The business side of things, yeah, none of us are businessmen, but I think it comes down again. It always comes back to the owners. It always comes back to the board. These guys know what they're doing. They've got a plan in place. They've handpicked guys that know what they're doing. I think the gaffer said in his video as well that considering that everyone's on holiday at the moment, he's impressed by the job that's been done, right? This is why he's given them massive kudos and respect. And I think, to be fair, I think more will ramp up. Although, how many more are we going to get? I mean, that's 5 already, considering we do need to get people out the door. 100% we need to get people out the door, but I think it will happen. I think we'll get enough interest in some of these fringe guys that we will lighten the squad a little bit. But it's only a good thing, mate. It's only a good thing. I'm kind of buzzing for it, and I think financially we can cope with holding on to people for a while anyway. So,
yeah, it's actually 6, but we're still waiting for them to announce Oscar Cortez.
Yes, yes, that we are. See, to be honest, Wilf, like you said, undisclosed fee. I'm not a big fan of guessing on what the fees are, but it's rumoured to be around about 3.5 million that we're paying for this guy. I think in the context of obviously Luton being relegated, that's brought the price down significantly. There's also a rumour going about a bit of release clause, etc., etc. But let's just say, for talking's sake, it is the 3.5 million that's been quoted. That's not a bad fee for a Norwegian international, Wilf.
Well, let's not get carried away. I think he's got 1 cap for Norway, and he, as he said in his video, he scored and he had an assist, so that's fine. I don't know the first thing about him. I've never seen him play. So, but yeah, 3.5 million for a 23-year-old international player on a 4-year contract. That's not a bad deal, because even if it turns out that he's not the player we expect him to be, we could probably flip him in a year's time for what we paid for him. So it's not that I'm expecting that to happen, but that's worst case scenario, because he will continue to be an international. I mean, ideally he gets his wish, he gets his shot at the World Cup with Norway next year, and all that can do is help us. That'll just inflate his value. I mean, we could be going from a situation where we've had no international players playing anywhere to having 3 or 4 at a World Cup next year. The way we're going with some of the players that we're bringing in, which is fantastic.
Well, why do you think they do the undisclosed fee thing these days? I don't understand. Where's the big secret in saying I cost 3.5? Why did he do that?
Don't know, because the price always comes out. At some point, the price always comes out. But I think it's possibly because deals are so complicated. I mean, the deal for Emmanuel Fernandez, it sounds like it was quoted as, there was quotes from like 350 grand up to 3.5 million. We're getting quoted when we brought him in. Now, my thinking would be, having listened to the lad for the Posh podcast that was on yesterday. Sorry, I can't remember his name. That was on with Brian yesterday afternoon.
Charlie.
They do things with lots and lots of add-ons. So I think it might be 3.5 million top bins if everything gets met, if all the clauses get met. So it's probably nothing like that up front. It's like, I don't believe for a minute we paid 5 million for Ridvan because he wouldn't have reached, all the clauses that were in it.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably part of the reason they don't want to say, well, look, it's £1 million up front, and then it's $500,000 if he does this, and 3 million if Rangers do that, and 4 and 6 if they do this. It's possibly the reason to do it. It grinds my gears because it's just, look, how much did you pay for the guy? You know what I mean? And that's it. That's because it does always eventually come out.
It does. And to be honest, see, even if it went up to the 5 million, which it was rumoured to be about a week ago, that they were saying it's going to be 5 million quid. Again, 23-year-old Norwegian international. He's got plenty of experience in the Championship. He's very, very sure of himself. Like the comments said, his manager at Luton's came out, his ex-manager, I should say now, at Luton's came out and says there's no way we could have kept a hold of him with the quality that he's got in League One. And if you can do it in the Championship, Trev, you can do it in the SPFL.
Yeah. Well, I think we said before, Martin, the SPL is probably the equivalent of like League One in England, and that's me being probably generous because the Championship, the English Championship, is probably definitely higher than our league. So the guy knows what it takes. He just came across really well, and it always comes back to, I know about the Gaffer's football. If I've not been part of his team, I played against his team, I want to be part of that. People seem to buy into this style of play, and I do as well if there's a plan B. That's the concern, that there's no plan B, but I'm just going to take me along for the ride. I'm just kind of buzzing actually to go to the game tomorrow. I know we won't see the man himself, but hopefully comes on at half-time, a wee wave to everyone else, and we see a couple of the other boys. Fernandez as well, like I'm a bit unsure about him as well, not just because of the comments yesterday, but just because he's a bit raw, and we might be able to get something out of a raw player, but at the same time, we might not be able to. So I think am I right in saying he's there as a kind of a hot prospect? He might come onto one like Egeman, for example.
Yeah, the way the head coach or manager, whoever, whether you're a player or just a fan or whatever, wants to, whatever you want to call him, he said that he's a raw talent. He can be worked. Just to paraphrase, they can work on him. What we've got to remember, bringing in guys like Fernandez, right, is that we're going to be playing. Well, hopefully, we're going to be playing a hell of a lot of games, right? Particularly in the first part of the season, right? And if guys like Manny Fernandez, if he can play whatever 40 games for Peterborough, surely we can use him in the SPFL, a home game against St Mirren or Hibs or Hearts or somebody after a European game, we'll have to rotate the squad because we don't want to be burning players out. We need a squad. We'll have to use it properly because we're going to have an awful lot of games in very, very short time. Because, THELO Asgaard said there, what he likes about Scottish football, it's like the English Championship. There's games all the time.
I like that quote, Wolf. I like that quote.
He knows what he's coming in. He knows there's going to be lots of games, and he likes that. I mean, go back to the last couple of seasons. We were playing well when we were playing 2 games a week, games every 3 days, as the previous manager used to like to say. Right? We seem to do well when we're playing games all the time. It was when we were having a midweek off, it seemed to fall off a cliff at the weekend. So, he's already got it in his head. He's going to be playing a game every 3 or 4 days, which is absolutely fantastic. And we're going to need guys like Fernandez and maybe Bailey Rice and guys like that, to fill in the gaps, to give people a rest. Because you don't want to be in a situation where, you've only got one guy for the position and you're burning them out. You've got, even somebody like Fernandez, if he is a project player, if you like, right? We're at home a league game against anybody and you're 2 or 3 up after an hour and you're not too sure about it, give him half an hour because you're not going to lose it from there. Take off Connor Cody if he comes in. Give him a rest. Put this guy on. That's the reason we're signing guys like that. But Martin, as you said, we have to get some of the guys off the wage bill because, and they will start moving them out, but it has to start happening quite soon, I think.
Well, Wolf, just in terms of Asgaard coming in, so I'm thinking in terms of forward-thinking players. I would imagine if I don't imagine him being played in a midfield three. I could be completely wrong. He could be the most advanced of a midfield three. If Russell Martin plays a 4-2-3-1, which apparently he likes to do, then it would appear to me anyway that Asgaard's going to be the 10. So in that position, we've sort of got Asgaard, Cameron, Bayrami. Oscar Cortez is more of a wide player, I get that. But what does this signing tell you then about the likes of Bayrami? Does he have a future?
I'll be honest, I'd actually forgotten about him. Somebody mentioned it with me yesterday, and I went, he's still at Rangers, isn't he? If we can get money for him, decent money for him, we'll get back to the pace. I'll be trying to move him on because he really didn't impress me last year. But again, he might be ideal for the system the manager's going to play. We don't know. We don't know that. I mean, there was times last season he was playing out wide, so whether with the current squad, it's Cortez on one side and him on the other, with Asgaard in the 10, as you say, who knows? You know what I mean? Don't know how wide Russell Martin will play. I don't know whether he'll play wingers with chalk on their boots. I don't think he does. I don't think that's his game. I think that's more, if he's playing three at the back, that's more going to be the wing backs game. They're going to be kind of hugging the touchline up and down. So you don't need a forward winger for that, if you like. So I don't know what it says about Bayrami. To be honest, I'd be trying to move him on, but it depends who else goes out. Because if Nico Raskin goes out, do we keep Bayrami and play him more centrally, which is where he's supposed to play anyway? You know what I mean?
Well, the question I was going to ask is, because I should have by now, but I haven't, is to go back and watch Russell Martin's teams and even see if he plays with wingers, because it's even the lack of links to a single winger, Trev. And as William's saying there, the channel member, he plays with inverted 10s. So I'm not sure how that would suit a Cortez. Would that suit a Cortez? It would probably suit a Bayrami. I suppose, Trev, in a way, but I just don't know how it's going to line up and if Bayrami's even in the manager's plans.
I've forgotten about him as well. Well, you're not alone, mate. That says it. That says it all, really. It's a shame. I hope he does factor in wingers into his team, because I love a good winger on a team. In fact, I actually miss 4-4-2 formation. That was always my favourite formation. I know we'll probably never see it again in modern football. We need to try and use players like that or sell them on. So like Cortez, he may never get announced by Rangers, and he might actually get sold without ever being officially announced. That would be hilarious and ironic. But maybe these players actually might get... I think every player under a new manager deserves another chance, Martin. I don't know about you boys. I think they always... And that includes Bayrami, that includes Cortez, the youngsters. They all deserve another chance of them because they might perform under a new gaffer. But as a lot of these players have done with other managers, they've threw them under the bus. So I'm hoping it's not a repeat of that, because you get the bounce back and then they go and they start playing crap again. So he'll give them a try. But I just hope he's the type of gaffer that will drop someone if they're crap, so it doesn't jeopardise the team. But you can't beat a good winger. I mean, one of my favourite all-time players is God, either on the flank or up front. So I hope it works out, and I hope it works out for Cortez. He's too expensive. So is Bayrami to be sitting doing nothing.
Do you want to hear a very quick story about how gullible and stupid I am?
Oh, go on for a chuckle.
Very, very quick, right? Very, very quick. So I was at Auchenhowie today watching the Rangers under-19s against Carlisle.
Nice.
Which the Rangers under-19s won 6-3. Very good second half performance. Burnside came on in the second half.
What did they say to you at the gate, Martin? What did they say to you at the gate? Who are you? What do you want? Or did you get in with Willie? You get you in?
I won't even tell you what they said to me in the gate. I get my own special parking space and everything. It was great. But it's half time, right? It's half time, and I'm walking up to the academy entrance to go and use the toilet, right? And I gets up just to outside the door, and John Sutter drives out in his big fancy motor, right? But he turns and he waves, right? Now I'm thinking to myself, he's definitely not waving at me, is he? And I looked over my right shoulder and there was nobody there. And I went,
watches the pod.
I went, do I wave back? Or, well, I'm going to look stupid here. I looked over my left shoulder and there was the cleaner. And I went, oh, he was waving at the cleaner. He wasn't waving at me. Oh, thank God, I've not made a complete arse of myself. Because I do tend to invariably make an arse of myself wherever I go. But yeah, there we go. Yeah. Do you know that way in your head? I'm like that. It would be really rude to not. I mean, not that he knows who I am. He's not got a clue who I am, right? But it'd be really rude if he was just waving, just generally being nice. And there's me with the hands in the pockets, looking from side to side.
I like the fact that he was waving at the staff. I like it. Martin was talking about again so many things I took out his interview. Was it from today or yesterday?
Yesterday.
He meant cheers. Well, he mentioned about the staff as well all being involved. He's like, you come along to we're going down south for that training camp, and you as in I can't remember what's the lass's name that does a lot of interviews? Do you remember,
there's a couple.
So but anyway, he was talking about her going down and all the rest of the staff and that, and it's a close knit unit. So Soapy's actually waving at the cleaner. Respect, man. They're all part of it as a big team. The boys can't do it without the support mechanisms behind them. So I'm glad they're getting acknowledged in all this.
I'm just sad that I didn't get acknowledged off of Soapy, to be honest.
It was you.
Jordy, imagine Big Soapy watching the Rabble thinking, fuck, that's Martin Fay the Rabble. Aye, all right. If that day happens, you'll see me running about going, woohoo, made it.
I was at a cultural event in Glasgow this morning. There was 2 or 3 folks said they enjoyed the podcast. So
I'm sure you will. Cultural.
That makes me feel better. Right. Anyway, quickly back to this one.
Louise Shaw was doing the interview.
Louise Shaw. I can't remember why. I couldn't remember her name.
Thank you,
there's another woman that does it, Emma, as well. I can never remember Emma's surname, but Emma's really good as well. Well, I want to take us back to something which I think is actually a really massive plus for us. And you mentioned it earlier in terms of the internationals that we've not had. Every international break, we've had 1 or 2 players that go away, right? And basically the rest are just stuck at home. The one thing that THELO, I will need to find out exactly how to pronounce his name properly.
Silent H.
The one thing he said, I don't trust you, but Trev. The one thing that he said, Wolf, was that he's got a World Cup coming up. See if we can attract players to come to Rangers from nations the likes of Norway or Croatia, teams that are fairly good, and in Croatia's case, very good. If we can attract those players to come to Rangers, Wolf, and say to them, if you come to us and play well, you will still be recognised and still get called up for your national team. For me, that's huge.
It is. What would help us greatly would be if a certain Belgian international decided to stick around. Because if he signs an extension, hangs around, and goes to the World Cup, Belgium will probably do well in the World Cup. So that will help, because it's the fact of when they're commentating, it's of Rangers, whoever the player is, of Rangers, and people think, what's a Rangers player? I mean, you think back to the 1990 World Cup, there was more Rangers players in the England squad than from any other club at all. There was a 4 or 5 Rangers players in the England squad, and that was more than from Liverpool and Man United and everybody else. And that's still a fact that commentators reference now, because that's quite a big thing. You know what I mean? So yes, it would be very, very nice to get more internationals from, let's say, companies that are half decent. I mean, there's no point. There is point if the player's good enough, but if there's no point saying, look, we've brought in, for example, I know a certain club of Carussia, mate, have brought in a guy who's a Burkina Faso international. Nobody's really going to care about that, because I don't even know where Burkina Faso is. With apologies to anybody from Burkina Faso that's watching in, but you know what I mean. You don't. That's not really kudos bringing in a player up. But Norway, as you say, Croatia, Austria, guys like that's markets that we should be looking at. Yes. Whether they're Scouse Croatians or Scouse Austrians or Scouse Norwegians, it doesn't matter. An international player is an international player.
100%, 100%. And by the way, I've got some super chats to get to, and a couple of them aren't very positive about me, but are probably correct. So, but just before I do, Wolf, I want to bring this up for Fergie. Wolf, just been informed about a regular car parking space in the Albion now restricted. Do you know anything close as me and father-in-law are blue badge holders?
I know the Albion's restricted because it's only going to be half capacity because they've sold half of it. Previous board sold half of it for a housing development, which I thought was ridiculous. Fergie, I know there is blue badge spaces behind the Copeland when they first had the fan zone when they brought that in. I don't know how you go about getting them. I'd imagine you'd need to email the Disability Matters. You're actually the second person to mention blue badges to me in the last 24 hours, because I've got a pal who's looking to try and get into the Albion, and he's having exactly the same problem. So I would, if I was you, I would try and get hold of the guys from the Disability Matters team at Rangers. And not quite sure what their email address is, but it shouldn't be too difficult to find it, and ask
Google
them.
it.
Yeah, and ask them, because I know there is spaces, because I've got a good pal of mine who's got a blue badge, and he's in one of the spaces behind the Copeland kind of walk down to the subway. So that would be my first thing for you. Other than that, I don't know what the on-street stuff is on a match day, because obviously with your blue badge you can technically park anywhere that's not causing an obstruction, but I don't know how that goes on a match day, because the police can be a bit arsey on a match day, where you put your motor. So that's the best advice I can give you, my friend.
There you go. Thank you, Wilf. Alan, channel member, massive super chat. Thank you very much, Alan. Only $1.99 a month to be a Rabble member. Come on, you want to. And of course, if you do want to and get access to loads of extra content and help support the podcast as we try and build it into being as big as what it possibly can be, links are in the description. You also get permission to call me a fanny, apparently. So thank you very much, Alan. Charles, with his super chat, you can all read what that says. I've just mentioned the word. Apologies for the swearing. I won't do it again. And he was straight back in not long after it because of my really bad John Suter story.
If you're from America, it's not a sweary word. It just means.
Well, I mean, if you're from America, then I'm an arse, which is also true. And Jerry Hardy, all the way from Canada. Jerry, thank you very much, my friend. Channel member also. This is how a professional sports organisation, Trev, does business. So full of optimism from the boardroom to the pitch. Are we now starting to? I think most of the fans, I'm guessing, we're really happy with the board coming in, right? Really happy with Andrew Kavanagh, Parag Marath. But not everybody was sold on the manager, right? Not everybody was. I wasn't sold on him. You weren't sold on him. No. A lot of people weren't. The more that we see these signings coming in, the more that we see the way the board's working, Trev, are we starting to all become full of a little bit of optimism, and that's including the manager?
Spot on, Martin. I agree with you 100%. I think, like most of us weren't excited about the gaffer coming in, but then when the boards, when the 49er Enterprise guys come in, and then they said Martin was the guy we were after. Once we spoke to him, he was the only guy we made an offer to. We wanted him. That actually put some confidence. I gave a bit of confidence in me and their ability to get the job done, because these guys have proven what it takes in business with the 49ers, with Leeds, and now they've picked a gaffer that they think fits their mould. That's what gave me the confidence, because I didn't have any before. I didn't. So maybe it's more confidence in the board and the owners than it is Martin, but it kind of runs through, if that makes sense. It's like a chain effect. So I think I do have optimism, and I was always going to get behind the gaffer, even if it had been under different owners, because that's the right thing to do. Everyone deserves a clean slate when they come in, no matter what they've done before. But the fact that he's backed by such a good business mind orientated guys, I think it's going to be onwards and upwards. Don't worry about enough people not going out the door or anything like that. I think that'll take care of itself. If we've already got 5 signings in and we've got room to sign even more, what do you think potential we could get? Could we end up signing 7-8 players by the end of this? Maybe more. That's a whole team you're lifting.
Trev, shush.
It's like I can't handle it. It's like Christmas all at once, man. It's too much.
Oh no, come on, Trev. Don't get I want to get our hopes up. I just don't want to get our hopes up too much so that we end up becoming another meme. Well,
Martin, too many players is also a bad thing, mate, for gelling and knitting. If that makes sense.
Do you know I used to know how to knit? My gran taught me how to knit.
Fucking hell! What?
I used to. Yeah, I don't think I could do it now, but I used to be able to knit.
I was more a crochet man, Martin, but anyway, that's...
but you invented it, Wolf. That's how far back that goes. Martin, where is Canada? Right next to Nova Scotia, apparently. Canada, very, very close. Lovely country. But yes. Right, we will start to wind up proceedings there. Breaking news shows, even though it was a couple of hours late because I was dog sitting in Cumbernauld, tend to only last about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. But, well, I'll kind of pose the same question to you. In all fairness, with the new signings coming in, with the board coming out at the EGM, with Russell Martin's interviews, are you starting to feel a bit more excitement about the season coming and what we can possibly achieve? Or is it still a case of, right, whoa, calm down, it's a few signings, we're still in pre-season, just calm down?
I'm always positive about a new season, even during the really bad times. Sorry, I had to go in there. Rangers just tweeted, welcome to Rangers, THELO AASGAARD. I thought we'd sign somebody else there for a second. Just for some reason, they just tweeted that one.
I'll tell you something right now, Rangers. Please, for the love of God, if anybody for Rangers at all is watching this, right, which I very much doubt, but if you are, just for the love of God, either announce it right now or don't announce it until tomorrow, right? Please. Sorry, Wolf, carry on.
Sorry. No, I'm always positive about the start of a season, but try not to get too carried away. I try not to get, too excited about new players coming in or players leaving and all that sort of stuff. So I'm a little bit concerned that we've only got one game against an opposition where there's going to be supporters in, if you like, because it's not going to be a competitive game before we play the European game, because we've only got the game tomorrow, and then the next game we play is going to be the Panathinaikos game. I'm a bit concerned about that. I thought we might have something either next Saturday.
There'll be bounce games set up.
Yeah, there's a big difference between bounce games and playing in front of a crowd.
Yeah.
So I thought there might be one coming out at St George's Park next Saturday or the following Saturday. I know the Middlesbrough game was originally planned to be on the 19th until it was pointed out to them that that's the same day that Newcastle are across in the East End, and they didn't think having Newcastle and Middlesbrough and Glasgow at the same time was a good idea, which is probably quite right, to be honest. You know what I mean? And that was already arranged, so I was getting knocked back a week. That came from a very good friend of mine down in Middlesbrough who works for the club. So yeah, that's why that's probably a week later than we really planned it to be. But no, I'm very. I mean, we said when Russell Martin came in, he was nobody's first choice, as you said earlier. We're all a bit kind of underwhelmed by it. But everybody I spoke to said, look, got to give the man a chance. And until he gives us a reason not to trust him, we have to trust him. The new director of football's come in, the whole new backroom teams come in. The directors have all, the chairman, the vice chairman, they've all said what they've got to say. The encouraging thing for me going back to the EGM was they said we'll only hear from them if they need to speak. So hopefully we don't hear from them because they don't need to speak, because they're not going to come out and say, hey, we've signed a new player. I mean, see this business that we're doing in the last couple of days. If that had been the old board, they'd have been all over it. There'd have been directors everywhere and all the photos. But all we've got is the manager, the player, and the director of football. That's all we've got in the pictures. That's
all you need.
That's all you need. It's probably more than all you need, because you don't really need the director of football. But I get it. I do get it. You know what I mean? I do get why he's involved in it. But no, I'm very, very much looking forward to it. Really looking forward to tomorrow, because I love going to Ibrox. Really looking forward to the new season. Hopefully we can move players out, but as you both said, there's no immediate rush for that. But we can't go into the season with too much. Because what we seem to forget is, right, the first leg of the Panathinaikos game, the window's still got 6 weeks after that.
Yeah.
I mean, so
yeah,
you'll probably find the team that plays then will be nothing like the team that plays the first game in September, which hopefully is a Champions League game.
No, because also what we're forgetting in all this as well is that I think THELO and Purdy have got a list of names, but I also think, Trev, that there's a list of names that are under one column that says qualifies for Champions League, and there's a list of names that says we didn't qualify for Champions League. I think their main targets that they'll want to get in, like we're doing right now, before the qualifiers, to give us the best chance possible, obviously to try and make it. But then I think once they know exactly what's happening in terms of Champions League, Europa League, and again, just my opinion, once they find out exactly what's happening with that, I think you might see another wee flurry of business as well.
Yes. Jamie Vardy's potential on that list because of the wages he would take. I think that's smart business. It's got to be a plan A and a plan B, maybe even a plan C as well, depending on budget.
It's only smart business, Trev, if we've got a decent enough team to compete to try and win the games.
That's true. Maybe we should slow down a wee bit until after the Champions League games to try and get them all playing well together. Actually, that reminded me, so many nuggets of information I took out of Martin's interview that he's talking about tomorrow's game and the game in Middlesbrough. He's going to run the players into the ground on purpose for fitness. So don't be surprised. As excited as I am for tomorrow's game, if they're blowing out their arse, then good. as long as they actually put out a good performance there and actually work hard, even if we end up losing, that's all you can really ask for. So I bring it on. I'm really looking forward to tomorrow, I'll be honest with you. I'm going with Ash and our wee nephew. So first time we're going to our new seats as well, near Brian.
Yeah.
Govan stand rear.
Yeah, but we don't want to be giving away the seat number, but yes.
I think know what my seat number is anyway.
Same section as you. And
That's
by the
it.
way, Del Boy's also tuning in from Canada. So,
Well, Martin, for all the folk tuning in from Canada, I'd like to wish them a belated Happy Canada Day for the 1st of July, because it was their big day on July the 1st. So, and if anybody's
Happy Canada Day.
If anybody's watching from the good old US of A, hope you enjoyed your day yesterday for the 4th of July.
Happy Traitor Day yesterday.
The ungrateful colonials, indeed.
Yes, indeed. Right, folks, that will do us for tonight.
Martin, just before we go, I always like to finish with something. Tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, Fraser Bryce, who goes to watch the Rangers women with his mum and dad, Fraser's autistic, and over the last year, he's taken it upon himself to get himself a bit fitter. He's walked around Lanark Loch, if I can say it, every single day for the last year. He's lost 8 stone
in
the process, right? So tomorrow he's doing a charity walk. It's called Walk with Fraser. His dad's quite clever that way. And he's raising funds for a drama group that he's involved with that have really brought him out of himself. I know a few of us are going along. I'm going along before the game. I know Alan from the pod's going as well. A few other folk that go to watch the ladies are going along to support Fraser. So if anybody's in the Lanark area and they're at Lanark Loch tomorrow, anytime between probably 10 and 1, pop along, give Fraser your support if you can. He's doing 8 laps in the loch. It's a mile a lap, so he's doing basically 8 miles.
Wow.
We're going along to support him. I just think what he's doing is tremendous, and I just thought I'd give him a wee shout out on here.
Absolutely.
I'm hoping to do a little something for the pod while I'm there. I haven't asked his dad that yet enough, but I'm sure it won't be a problem. So hopefully I'll fire a little with you tomorrow at some point. But yeah, wishing Fraser all the best. I know there is a few of us going down. So if anybody is in the Lanark area before the game tomorrow, and don't worry, if anybody watching the pod is in the Lanark area and thinks I can't do that, then go to the game, I can easily get a lift to Ibrox because I'll be driving straight over after.
Well, there you go. So not only do you get to go and see Fraser and congratulate him on all the fantastic work that he's doing, you also get to share a car journey with Wilf, which I've heard you're taking your life in your hands when you're in a car with Wilf. But yeah, so there you go. Go and check it out. Wilf, thank you very much for the info. Congratulations to Fraser. 8 stone, tremendous. Absolutely tremendous, by the way. Phenomenal. I lose a couple of pounds and I'm pure all buzzing and happy with myself, and then I've found it 2 days later and ends up like £6 added on. So well done, Fraser. Congratulations, buddy. I'm not at all jealous. I am not at all jealous. Jim Sloan, the channel legend, owns 92.7% of the rabble now, Jim. Great pod, lads. Hope Connor's found his dummy. No, Jim, Connor has not found his dummy. He's still in the huff. He's still raging. If you watch today's Random Rabble, Jim, you will see how much in a bad mood he is. Jim took his 2K25 Rabble Wrestling title off him.
Oh, I see.
And Connor's just, honestly, he's not been able to get over it. He's just not been able to get over it.
That's pretty sad. The sooner they realise that it's a computer that decides who wins, the more content and happy. You'll live longer. You'll live longer.
Well, I think Connor was quite close to quitting the podcast, to be honest with you. He was going to tender his resignation if he wasn't given his title back, but there we go. Anyway, folks, listen, thank you so much for all the support. We're 1 like away from 100. Come on, give the show a quick like on YouTube. Get us to the 100 likes. Make sure you're following us across all socials as well. All the links are in the description. And if you want access for as little as £1.99 a month, for watch-alongs for every game, for a Tuesday night members show, for a Monday to Friday 10 a.m. phone-in, plus loads more, then check the description now for the YouTube or Patreon links. Everything's live on YouTube and then it's uploaded in audio form onto Patreon barring the watch-alongs, which are live on Patreon, and the WWE 2K25 members versus hosts. So there we go. So thank you so much, Wilf and Trev, for taking time out your Saturday night to join me. Thank you to everybody in the comments, everybody listening back, for all the super chats that we've had as well. Thank you so much. Yes, there's one. I know, Trev. I know.
Sorry, mate.
I know. There's one more from Charles. Do you know what I think, I think Charles is in love with me, and I don't blame him. Look at this.
Yeah.
I'd be in love with this as well. But thank you for all the support, Charles. It really does mean a lot. You fud. But anyway, that will do us for tonight. Thank you so much, everybody. And no, do you know what? I'm going to leave it there because I'm going to end up saying something stupid and have people in my comments again. So, folks, thank you very much, and we shall speak very, very soon. Charles is a fun.